This is actually hilarious now that I think about it. We actually have one angel holding back all of their angels. Hello my fiery friends, the Infernoman here with the latest in deck technology. And for today's deck tech, we'll be covering a Karn Tribal deck in the historic format that I'm simply calling Pure Carnage. Now you may be thinking, again, we've done already a course of several colorless decks in the format, so what makes this deck so different this time? Well, I honestly just wanted to go off with a bunch of Karns because I actually do find him as one of my favorite planeswalkers, but specifically from Aftermath, Karn Legacy Reforged piqued my interest, so I thought, can we pull this off? Let's actually give it a try. But of course, before we go into that, let's go over the basic stats of the deck. So we have a 3.3 average mana curve, which is a lot, but trust me, we have a ton of mana rocks to get ourselves off here. We have 3 creatures in the main deck, 32 non-creature spells, specifically 22 artifacts, 5 sorceries, 8 planeswalkers, and 25 lands. Here's what you're going to be looking at right now. So first off, let's talk about the 2 main stars of the show. We're going to be talking about Karn itself and what he's trying to do specifically. Let's go over again our first Karn, which is Karn Living Legacy. We don't really need a bunch of copies of him. All he just needs to do is just keep ticking up to create some more Power Stone tokens so we can ramp out the rest of our artifacts. Karn Sign of Urza, this is also a really cool card where we can then have our opponent kind of make their pick or poison, if you will. That's going to be the +1 ability, of course, but we can also tick it down to make a bunch of constructs with to have +1/+1 for each artifact we control. Karn the Great Creator is our main star of the show. This, of course, will turn off our opponent's activated abilities of artifacts they control, but we're going to obviously tick down so we can go through our sideboard, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. But before we get there, our other reason why I wanted to do this deck is for our 5-drop Karn, Karn Legacy Reforged. So reading it says, it's a legendary artifact creature golem where its power and toughness are equal to the greatest mana value among artifacts we control. At the beginning of your upkeep, you add colorless mana for each artifact you control. This mana can't be spent to cast non-artifact spells, and until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Whew! Long story short, this card basically just gives us a ton of ramp for all of our artifacts so we can just go off and destroy our opponents. But if this all falls apart, if we can't get through any of our Karns, we can also ramp into our single copy of Ugin the Spirit Dragon. I know, some people out there may not be happy I'm going to have Ugin, but again, I look at him right now as just basically a wrath, not necessarily a game-winning piece, because we want to try to get to our opponent with our sideboard. But before we do that, let's also explain the way we support Karn and how we ramp into him. So we have a ton of mana rocks. We have Cold Steel Heart, we have Guardian Idol, Mind Stone. These in the 2-drop slot provide us different utility. Speaking of additional action, we also have copies of Hedron Archive, which is just like Mind Stone except double. In other words, it costs 4 instead of 2, it'll add 2 mana instead of 1, and we sack it as well as tapping it for 2 to draw 2 cards. Otherwise, as I just mentioned, Thoughtseize is going to be what you're going to use in the early to mid game to strip your opponent of their critical pieces so that way we can get our game plan off. And of course, for that Shadow's Verdict, it's mostly for the aggro decks out there while we're waiting to get to Ugin. But otherwise, that's actually the main part of the deck. It's actually really simple and easy, just to keep ramping everything until you get to your Karns. Now, as far as your land base is concerned, we can then utilize a bunch of utility lands because we are colorless. So we have Infinite or Dead lands. This is again just a flex ability for our Shadow's Verdicts and our Thoughtseize, but also it does have colorless options to it. A Blast Zone is available here as another way we can kind of wrath the board if we have to. Cascading Cataracts is another way to fix our mana base, so we only have 1 copy of that. A single copy of Inventor's Fair so we can get some incremental life gain and also pull out an artifact that we may need on the spot, mostly for example, say a Forsaken Monument. Karn's Bastion, this is actually not just, of course, one where we can proliferate all of our planeswalkers, but the other main reason, of course, is come on, it's of course Karn's Bastion, it's Flavor Win, so of course we had to add that in as a copy. Now that we have it available in Arena, we have access to Mutavaults, so we can then utilize these to also create some more ways of doing some beatdowns along with Guardian Idols. Radiant Fountains is just to help us some life gain and can fix against aggro. Scavenger Grounds as an additional way we can have some graveyard hate. It also allows us to sacrifice Desert, so we can also use the Infinite or Deadlands if we need to do multiple ways of exiling graveyards. Spire of Industries, additional ways we can just fix our mana. And finally, some Zalfir Voids to help fix our draws by scrying 1. But otherwise, as far as the sideboard toolbox is concerned, for graveyard hit, you'll have a Tormod's Crypt. If you are having long, grindy matches, use Retrofit or Foundry. For Shadow Spear, this can turn off your opponent's permanents that have hexproof and indestructible, so we can just blow them if we need to. A Stasis Coffin as our emergency panic button to have us get protection from everything for a whole turn. Mystic Forge is mostly what you're probably going to be getting out first with Karn the Great Creator, so we can then keep churning through our whole deck and getting to our action. For certain decks that don't have specific removal, we can have Platinum Angel to make sure that we don't lose the game and our opponent can't win the game. For our bigger stuff that we just want to blow up for non-land permanents, we have Cityscape Leveler, and it's a great beatdown creature to just finish out the game pretty quickly when it has Trample as well. We have Pithing Needle in the best of 3 slots, so we can just turn off specific cards, mostly against Planeswalkers. Stonebrain can be here, of course, to just pick off specific cards in our opponent's graveyard, hand, and library to make sure they get rid of him and don't use them again. Karn Silex is another layer for another Wrath for us in the deck, and also it turns off our opponent's ability to pay life to cast spells or activate abilities that aren't mana abilities. Nettlecyst is another massive creature that we can also use with its Phyrexian Germ. We can add the Nettlecyst onto another one of our artifact creatures, just make it really big and possibly just close out the game. Another copy of Forsaken Monument in the best of 3. Against control decks and against combo decks, we do have God Pharaoh Statue. Wormcoil Engine is another creature we can use for more specific matchups in best of 3, where it has both Death Touch and Lifelink, and also can leave behind some more tokens, which can ensure that we can just keep blocking against our opponent for days. And again, for those greedy mana bases out there that use a bunch of different basic land types, we have Sundering Titan to blow up those lands. But otherwise, that's basically it for you in terms of the whole deck. So what do you think? Do you think this is going to be able to pull off anything? Well, as always, let's take the deck into the format and play some matches and show you how the deck turns out. But before we continue, if you do like any of the content that I do, please like, follow, and subscribe wherever you watch the content so you don't miss out on any of the gameplay, booster pack openings, deck decks, and so much more. Okay, my fire friends, here we go. We are playing our Pure Carnage deck in Historic, and well, we definitely have a Karn, which is awesome, and we do have a way to ramp right into him, so let's keep this, and hopefully we can get there with what we got. So with that, let's play Spire of Industry and pass. Okay, so our opponent is definitely playing something. I'm guessing either Boros artifacts, or they might be doing something where they're just going to do a bunch of sacrifice shenanigans. Oh, I think it looks like it's actually the Azorius build. So with that, Deadlands, we will play Cold Steel Heart on black. Okay, so we do have everything now we need. We just need to start digging into our bigger pieces. Okay, Hollow Fountain, Esper Sentinel, Retrofitter Foundry. Yep. They're definitely going to make a lot of artifacts. Okay, we will get there, everybody. So with that, Karn, Scion of Urza. They draw a card. We will take up. Start the digging. Ooh, this is actually a pretty good hit for us. Okay, either way, I'm guessing they're going to give us the Hedron Archive. As I figured. Okay, so we can tick down to get Karn back a little bit later on if we need to. Another land. Vault Scourge. Michigo Rain of Truth. Okay, well this is now big enough. It doesn't take out Karn yet, so we do have another chance of getting something out of it. Ooh, we got Ugin. Okay, so we're in decent shape right now. We just need to just go off here. Esper Sentinel draws a card. We will then play Cold Steel Heart, again on black. We will then tick up. We want to land. Obviously, our opponent here should probably give us the land, which is actually good for us. Of course. Okay, so we're set up now for success, everybody. So, most likely our opponent here is going to try to take out Karn. We have now, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. We can just get one more land, we're fine. Hope of Garapur. Retrofitter Foundry. So they can't cast non-creature spells, but this has to actually swing first. It does buy us a turn if we absolutely need to. Ooh, okay, everybody. So we have a Radiant Fountain. So the only other tricky part now is, does our opponent have a counterspell? If they have a counterspell, we are screwed. Okay, I think we get the Esper Sentinel. Sacking that desert. So it will die. Alright, with that. Mind Stone. Cold Steel Heart. On black. Okay, well, hopefully that should be enough insulation for us. So if we, again, just need to get a little bit more going here, we should be okay. Oh wow, they actually sacrificed their Thopter. Interesting. Okay. Ensoul Artifact. Okay, that's fine, opponents. I don't mind that. Do we go for it here? Is this our turn to go for it? I think this is our turn. Okay, this is perfect, everybody. He tapped out. This is actually awesome. Okay, Mutavault down. Ugin. Not quite, I know, not a Karn victory, but we will take it. So, with that, we tick down. Exiling everything with 2. So, with that, we then put down Mind Stone, and we pass. Okay. Well, at least we got rid of most of the board, and we can still have Ugin survive the next hit here. Their construct can't beat Ugin. So looks like they're gonna try to get back their stuff with Loris. Do they swing here? They do. Okay, well, that's fine. Sacrifice here, one of our Mind Stones. We need to draw a card. Radiant Fountain. Okay. With that, Ornithopter. Mutavault. Okay. Well, with this, we will then tick up. I think we'll just go face. They can sacrifice their Ornithopter anyway, so I'm not worried about that. We can then tap here, draw 2. Ooh, Shadow's Verdict. Okay, well, this is actually pretty good for us. So, with that, Shadow's Verdict. Get rid of the whole board. Even if they try to make a thing with a Retrofitter Foundry, they can't. Whew, that was too close for us. Okay, we stabilized. And we got rid of their whole... Yes, 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 we got there, we got there. Okay, okay, awesome. Okay, so that was pretty awesome. We actually managed to beat their deck on the first game there, but one of the actually interesting things I forgot to mention is with this deck, the way it's run, as you can see, we actually don't have the sideboard. Our sideboard's already set for us, so we're just going to just click done and go right back into game 2 of this match. Okay, everybody, so here we go. This is the second part of this best of 3, and we don't have a single mana. Yikes. Okay, so we will then mulligan. I think we can keep this. Put back 1 Karn Legacy Reforged. If I'm guessing if our opponent, they probably have their counter spells already now dumped into this, so we're going to have to anticipate that for this match. So with that, Inventor's Fair. So we go into Cold Steel Heart. We have Thoughtseize available. Karn the Great Creator can help us get to what we need. Should be okay as soon as we can get Legacy Reforged out. Vault Scourge. Alright. Hopagirper. They hit us. Okay. We have Mind Stone also, which is nice. Spire of Industry. Cold Steel Heart. They draw a card. Annoying, but this is fine. Ensoul Artifacts on the Vault Scourge. Okay, opponent's off to a fast start here. Can we stabilize quick enough here? Karn's Bastion. We will then play Karn the Great Creator. So they can't really do anything versus our artifacts, at least for a little bit. We tick down. Stand down. I think we get the Nettle Cyst. We just need to get a couple more artifacts and we should be okay. Opponent going after a Karn. Not a surprise, of course. Does our opponent sacrifice the Hopagirper? They do. So they try to lock us out for a turn. If we can get a land here, we can actually get down Living Legacy, or Legacy Reforged. Retrofitter Foundry. We did not. So, there's unfortunately nothing we could do because they just sacrificed the Hope, and that kind of locked us out for a turn. Wow, that actually really did hurt us a lot. Gonna go swinging at us. Alright, well, this is it. Now or never. Opponent's got their Ornithopters going. I'm gonna throw everything on us. Ooh, okay. Well, Radiant Fountain. Gain some life. That's not enough for us. Karn Legacy Reforged. Yep, they do have the counterspell. Alright. Well, this is unfortunate, everybody. So, we lost here. That's okay. We're gonna go to our third game and see if we can get this. Okay, everybody, here we go. We're playing in the third part of this best of 3, and can we get there? Let's see. Okay, so we do have our Karn. We have Hedron Archive into Guardian Idol. We definitely have everything we need. Let's see if we can get there with what we got. So with it, Spire of Industry down first. If we sequence everything fine, we should be okay here. Sovereign Void. Okay, we got a Blast Zone. We'll keep that. That's actually pretty good for us. We will then do Cold Steel Heart. They draw a card on black. Okay. Well, we just need to get a little bit more stable here and we should be okay. Esper Sentinel number 2. Opagirper. Alright. With that, we can then play Blast Zone. And actually, we'll just do it here. Alright, we got rid of their board. Okay, we're fine for now. So this buys us time. We are going to be a bit slow for a bit because we had to blow up the board there just to get rid of all their stuff. But we're okay. Spire of Industry. Guardian Idol. Thoughtseize. Throw away Michiko's Reign of Truth. Okay. Well, we slowed them down completely here. We just need to get out Karn, and we should be okay for a little bit while we continually try to figure out some more answers here. Retrofitter Foundry. They pump their board. Okay, so with that, Karn Legacy Reforged. It's a 5/5. So we can at least block for a little bit, which is nice for us. Ideally, I would love our opponent to bring in Luris right now, and then we can just throw it away with Thoughtseize. Wow, they're actually swinging? Is this a trap? Did we do it? Okay. Taking a chance here, everybody. What does he got? Pijano. Nope. That's fine. We just need to stall them out for a little bit more. Okay, so with that, we will then play Hedron Archive. We can then play Guardian Idol. And we pass here. Okay, well, our opponent really ran deep here. But we're still in this portable hole. They get rid of... Oh, wow, they actually went after Cold Steel Heart. I mean, we're fine with that. This is definitely fine. Alright, they bring in Luris. Infinite or Deadlands. How do we do this, everybody? Okay. Unfortunately, this is gonna really hurt us right now. But we throw away their Luris. We're down to 5. Our opponent's gonna start making more artifact creatures, but we have to hang in there just a little bit more. Oh man, we're so close here. If we could just at least empty out the rest of their stuff here, we should be able to get a victory. Our opponent is definitely going to start pumping their stuff. Okay. We have to stabilize. Oh, no. Oh, no. No. They swing here. Turn on Guardian Idol. Turn on Guardian Idol number 2. We block and block. Oh man, this is so painful to do. Ouch. Well, we only have one turn here to survive, everybody. Oh, okay. Well,
this stinks.
sack for no real value. We didn't get there, everybody. Yep. Get that life back, and that's it. That's game. Well, that was really unfortunate for us. We blew up everything. We just didn't have enough. Okay, my fiery friends, here we go. We're playing our Pure Carnage deck in Historic, and, well, we definitely have our Karns, and we definitely have our Mana Rock, so I think this is perfectly fine for us to just start playing with. So we're going to hopefully just ramp right into Karn on turn 3, and then we'll hopefully just start generating more value from there. Deadlands. Cold Steel Heart on black. Okay. Opponent playing... Oh. Playing Angels? Okay. With that... Karn, sign up Urza. We will then tick up.
I'll make use of that.
Then, okay, well, it's just land, so I guess at the very least we get a free land out of this. Our opponent's obviously going to give us the Zalfrim Void. Make sure we don't get a Mutavault. Opponent goes swinging at Karn. So that does buy us a little bit of time. We really just need to get to our Ugin now, or at least our Shadow's Verdict. So, with that, take up again. Our opponent most likely will give us a Thoughtseize. Don't care about Karn. Oh wow, they do. Okay, well, with that, Zalfrim Void. We get another Thoughtseize. We can then play Karn, the Great Creator. Tick down with Karn. We will get Platinum Angel. That at least can buy some time if we can actually cast it. Mostly when it's an Angels deck like this, they're most likely not going to have any removal. They're only just going to be able to swing, so that could help us out. Opponent going swinging at Karn. I'm surprised they actually didn't go after the Great Creator Karn. Interesting. Okay. Ooh, okay. Well, they didn't really do much here, so that's good for us. Hedron Archive. We will play Zalfram Void. Put down the Radiant Fountain. Mind Stone. We will Thoughtseize. Taking a peek, opponent. What do you got? Alright. Rada and Giada. They pump. And, okay, so what do we get rid of? Wow. Okay. Opponent's hand is kind of stacked here. So with this, I think our best solution here is... I think we'll get rid of that Resplendent Angel. They're still a ways away from actually getting to Collected Company, which is okay with us. We can then tick down with Karn.
My purpose is
And we'll get Mystic Forge. Guardian Idol. Okay. Well, we are ramped now completely. So all we just need to do at this point is just get out Platinum Angel, and we can kind of stall out for a little bit. Angel of Vitality. Okay, everything here looks scary, but we're fine, everybody. We just got to survive this one turn here. They swing. We're down to 7. Gain some life back. Spire of Industry. We will simply play Platinum Angel. Okay, so with that, we can at least survive a little bit here. Tick up Karn. We will then play Mystic Forge. And we pass. Okay, so at least with our Platinum Angel, this stalls out for time. We just need to get to Ugin, and we could be okay here. Inspiring Overseer. This is fine. They will dig. Despite how big all their stuff is, they can't really get past us and beat us as long as we have Platinum Angel out. Karn will die here. This is definitely fine. So, with this, we just need to just find what we are looking for.
This is where the fun begins.
Guardian Idol. Cold Steel Heart. Black. Karn Living Legacy. Create a Power Stone. Play the Mutavault. Cold Steel Heart again. On black. And Mind Stone. We pass. Wow, actually, okay. Now we're really going off here, everybody. Okay, now you can kind of see where we're trying to be at with the deck. This is actually hilarious now that I think about it. We actually have one angel holding back all of their angels. Should find some irony in this, actually. Alright, but in any case, we're just going to let our opponent just do their thing. Opponent swinging at Karn. That's really all they can do. They go after Karn still. And then they go to our face. No blocks. We go down to -6, but the angel keeps us alive. This is hilarious. Okay. Now at this point, all we just need to do is get our deck to go off here. So, Karn Legacy Reforged. Mind Stone. Actually, there's not much else we can do. Okay, with that, we can sacrifice Inventor's Fair. We will dig out our Forsaken Monument to play Spire of Industry. Ooh, okay. Ugin's on the next turn. Okay. So we're good here, everybody. We just need to survive this turn because our opponent obviously does not have any kind of removal in this deck. And we got there. Wow, this actually pulled it off. We did it. Skyclave Apparition. That doesn't do it for us. That doesn't do it against our things. They're too high. So they can get rid of our... They can get rid of our Forge. That's perfectly fine. Their Angel deck just can't do anything against us. No blocks. We just go into the negatives at this point. We're at -55. Okay, okay, here's it. This is it, everybody. We got there. Okay, Ugin. Gain 2 life. We can now wrath the entire board. So exile everything. 1, 2, 3. The whole board is gone. Alright. We swing. They're down to 52. It might be a little while before we get there, but that's okay, everybody. Okay, so with that, let's start drawing into some other action. Okay, there's our card. Okay, with that. Now we're fine. We then tick down Karn. From here, we can then just get Shadow Spear. Play Shadow Spear. We're only just doing this as an insurance. So with that, equip onto Karn. And we'll pass here. Okay. Well, that was a turn, everybody. I honestly still don't know how our opponent is going to beat us here. But we mostly have the whole match under control at this point. Our opponent is still missing all their land drops. Honestly, props to our opponent for just hanging in there. Good for them. Okay, so with that, we get a ton of mana. We tick down Karn again.
You will not.
And then from here, Cityscape Leveler. Deadlands. Cityscape Leveler. Blow up their Speaker of the Heavens. Turn it into an artifact. We then tick up Ugin. They're down to 49. Wow, we really have to actually do this the hard way. Okay. So with that, Mutavault turning on. Mutavault turning on. Guardian Idol turning on. I really can't believe we have to do it this way. This is so hilarious. This is honestly not the way at all to do this deck. But I will take it. Okay, so with that, we draw another card. We get another Ugin, which is great. We go swinging with everything here. 41, 30, 26, 22, 18, 14, down to 8. Wow, that's still not enough. We're still at negative, by the way, but we're going to get there. I can't believe it. We actually overpowered an Angel deck with a single Angel of our own. Spiring Overseer. This is fine as well. They gain some life. Do you concede, opponent? Is this it? Do you give up here? And there we go. Yeah, we got there! Oh my gosh, that was the best. Oh my goodness, wow. And there you have it, everybody. So that was our Pure Carnage deck for you for the historic format. So you tell me in the comments below, what do you think? Are you a fan of this style of deck? Personally, after I played with it a little bit, I was honestly a little underwhelmed. It was not a bad deck per se, it just felt kind of mediocre to me. Still, I will definitely say it was fun when it did go off. You did see in that final match we had, oh man, it was hilarious to see that literally just took one card to stop our opponent's entire game plan. And that's ideally what you want from this deck. The way you want to play this deck is you just want to get one of your silver bullets out that basically clutches the game for you and prevents your opponent from getting that victory. The deck otherwise just felt a little inconsistent. Maybe we were trying for too much to get a Karn out and stick, when realistically all you just need is Karn the Great Creator. I could argue that actually Karn Legacy Reforged was actually pretty sweet to have, but I don't know if it just is too little too late when you get it out. By the time you get it out on turn 4 in Historic's actually a lot faster now, so Karn here, I don't know if it will do well, but I still think maybe it does have a place. Maybe we could put this, oh, I don't know, maybe in the sideboard as one of the silver bullets. I don't know. If you guys have any thoughts on that, I would love to hear from you below. The only other thing I did want to say that was really underwhelming of the deck is every time we got Thoughtseize, we didn't really get a chance to play it because our mana base actually was kind of awkward. And the other thing I didn't realize was without any basics in our main land base, it gets a little awkward if we have anybody that actually tries to blow up our land. So keep that in mind. I probably should add in at least a couple of wastes, just that way I don't have that problem. But otherwise, that's mostly all I have for you. I honestly don't have a budget version of this build, and the reason for that is the way this deck is designed, you really can't afford to make this cheaper without it being either more inconsistent or at worst, it just doesn't play out the way you want it to. But otherwise, my only final thoughts I'm going to say is, does this mean this deck is terrible? No, it's not. The only thing is the version that I tried out right now was just not quite as consistent as I want it to be. So if you do want to maintain consistency, finally, I would just say if you want to add in maybe some spot removal, you could take out the Thoughtseize and put in some of that. If you want to go into a different color, maybe for counterspell protection, you could try out blue. Maybe if you want to try out red for a little bit more of the aggressiveness with burn or some other more faster wraths, give that a try if you want to. I definitely say more power to you if if you can't afford to pull it off. My only other thing I'm going to say, however, is if you are, however, a fan of colorless decks, maybe you're a fan of artifact decks, maybe you just want to try to ramp into something big and splashy, I would definitely say whether you do want to try this out in a different version, maybe you want to play the version we played today, definitely give this deck a try. And when you get Karn out and you pull out your silver bullet out of that sideboard, which can lock out your opponent from getting their victory only to give you the victory, I assure you it'll be so satisfying to have it pull off, and you definitely will not be disappointed. That's all I have for you today. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. Later.